was the intro again?
Hello. You're listening to Sip and Spin.
I thought you meant the slogan.
Oh, I mean, I can do the slogan if you don't know it. But I just thought maybe you would want to be like the hello girl.
Okay, I can be the hello girl.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Did you? I'll tell you about it later.
Oh God. Okay.
Hello, and welcome to Sip and Spin. My name is Skylar, and then over here in the cute fox shirt is Brittany.
Hello. This is a variety podcast where we talk about everything, anything, and nothing.
You killed it.
Do you kind of want to explain the premise of it?
Sure. Okay, so I really like true crime and paranormal stories. Let me reiterate, stories.
We'll get into that.
But I didn't want to just do like a true crime or just a true crime podcast or just a true crime and paranormal podcast, because I felt like there were a lot of those and I kind of wanted to do something different. And I also have a lot more like interest, because like anything that like even piques my interest a little bit, I'm like, this is now my entire life. My personality is now based around this. So I just wanted to have like something that could be a lot more broad, but I didn't know how to do it without it just being like completely random. And I wanted it to at least have a structure. So then I realized, oh, I really do suck at decision making, because I always suck at I can't make decisions. It gives me like anxiety. So that's how I came up with the idea to get like a little spinny choice wheel thing, and then we could put like topics on it, and spin the wheel to get our topic. So that way I didn't have to make any real decisions, and also it had a little bit more structure that way. And then I also just wanted to drink a lot because I like alcohol.
Yep. And originally you just wanted a wheel app on your phone, but then enter me, my extra ass. I was like, no, I want an actual big spinning wheel that I can physically pull down and spin. And so we got one and built it. And now we have a bright, colorful thing sitting next to us all the time. And then we also decided to spin for our alcohol.
Yes.
So every episode will have a different topic and we'll have a different drink. And the drink one is interesting because it has each of our favorite things, but also each of our least favorite things. So it could be a punishment as much as it is a treat. So that leads to today's episode.
The very first one. Woo!
Yes! So our first episode, the topic is paranormal, and the drink was red wine. This is especially funny to me, and only me, because I love ghosts, I love paranormal, I love anything spooky, and moreover, I believe in them. And red wine is also my favorite drink. How do you feel about those two things, Skylar?
Well, let's start off with the wine, because that's going to be easier. I prefer white wine. Red is okay if it's a really sweet red, but I like white wine, and
I don't like sweet stuff.
So paranormal, I think it's interesting. I think this history behind it can be interesting, and I think the true crime behind it can be interesting. But when you get to the actual paranormal and like ghosty part, I find it borderline hilarious and ridiculous, because I do not believe in ghosts.
Wah, wah. So you can imagine how thrilled she was for this to be the first episode.
It's just one punch after the other.
I think I offered to let you respin, but you stuck it out like a champ, so I'm proud of you.
I'm a team player.
That's growth. That's growth. And speaking of wine, I guess then our wine for tonight kind of wanted it to be themed. And by that, I mean I went to my local liquor store and just walked up and down the wine until one looked like a ghost. And it was really hard. Nothing was sticking out to me. And they were also closing. And the guy was literally walking around with the mop staring at me. And I was like, I've got to go. They locked the doors. People were trying to come in. But we were the only ones in there. I was like, I've got to make a decision. And then we found Ghost Runner. Literally just has the word ghost in it. And I ran with it. I know nothing about it.
Haha.
Oh, haha. I wasn't trying to make fun. I'm so good, I didn't even have to try. It's just a red blend. It has raspberries and plum. And blackberry. So, we'll see. It's 14%. It smells concerning.
Yeah, it like burned my nostrils when I smelled it. I was like, this is not what I wanted.
I love red wine, but red wine hurts me. It always gives me a headache. Always. So I'm a little worried. It has been sitting, but it smells like something.
It smells like that really bad rosé I had that one time.
See, it smells more like a chemical to me is what I'm thinking of.
Well, that really bad rosé I had that one time smelled like a chemical.
Well, I don't know what that was. We're not going to get sponsored by these people anytime soon.
Well, I didn't say the brand name. And if they did try and sponsor us, I would say no, because I wouldn't want to do that to anyone who happens upon this podcast.
Anyway, should we try this?
Yeah, do a cheers.
Sure.
Right by the mic. That was a very poor cheers.
Well, it's not actual glass.
It's not glass cups. I forgot.
I mean, here, we can cheers with these.
Okay.
For a better sound.
Just these empty glasses. I thought I was going to break it.
You've been a little vicious. Alright, so let's give it a sip. A sip! And then a spin.
We don't spin till the end.
I know. Oh, it's not good.
This is a bad wine.
What a great time Skylar's having tonight.
Although maybe I'm not the person who you need to trust on whether or not it's a bad wine, because I don't like most red wines, but...
Okay, I've had 5 sips now. It's alright.
I'll just chug this entire first glass. That's a bad idea.
Don't throw up. I don't want to see you throw up.
I have never.
You better knock on some wood.
No, seriously, I haven't. Even that one night I had like 8 cocktails, I was fucked up. I didn't throw up.
That's fine. That's different than chugging gross red wine you don't like.
That's fair.
I'm not saying you're not a champ, but bad decision is a bad decision. I wish you could see her face every time she takes a drink. Alright, any other business?
Was any of this business?
Could be. Before we dive in.
Anyways.
Yes, okay, we'll move along. So, paranormal. There were so many things I wanted to cover for my story, but I decided to go with something I had never heard of, and so it's a little not well known. It is the story of the Dock Street Theater. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay.
I barely knew where Charleston was.
Yes, this is in Charleston, South Carolina. So it's the Dock Street Theater, but could also be known as the Planters Hotel.
Planterns?
Planters.
Oh.
Like a farmer. And we'll get into that.
Okay.
Like, if you plant something, you're a planter.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're a farmer, but sure.
In this story, it does.
Okay.
I think. I didn't really look up the word. We'll see.
Should I look it up now?
No,
don't worry.
Oh my god, I'm never gonna get through this story.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. It's a lot of history, so hopefully you guys aren't bored by history. We'll get into the ghost, I swear. But we're gonna start with some background.
A manager or owner of a plantation. So they're racists.
Well, this is the South, Skylar. We're in Charleston, South Carolina. And I'll see. You'll see. It's one of my first notes. So we're located in Charleston. It's lots of history there, obviously, because that's how it was. Not a lot of great history, though. It was a lot of pirates, the Revolutionary War, and of course the Civil War. And I said all pretty fucking sucky because, you know, the South. Because everything sucked back then.
Pirates are kind of cool.
Pirates are cool, but I don't think it's the kind we're thinking of. I wouldn't imagine.
Probably not in South Carolina. But if it was like the, you know, like...
I mean, they do have the ocean there, so it could have been.
Oh, yeah, they do. They have Merlin. Nope, not Merlin. What's the beach name?
Myrtle? Merlin's a wizard. I wish they had fucking Merlin.
I've been to Myrtle Beach like 5 times. Why can't I think of its name? It's got an old lady name. I forget.
Yeah, Myrtle. I've never met a Myrtle.
Moaning Myrtle. That wasn't her name either, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was?
But
okay.
I've never met her. She's a ghost. You don't believe in her. How dare you? Okay, anyways, so in Charleston, the Dock Street Theater, it was one of its kind, because it was the first building in the area to have this great, beautiful architecture. She's dying.
I took another drink. I shouldn't have.
Oh, maybe you should just chug it. Anyways, this was one of the first buildings to, like, bring in tourism to South Carolina, so it was a big deal. And I think it was actually the first theater.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was really interesting. The theater was located in, or is currently located in the French Quarter neighborhood. It's still very much open today, but it is not on Dock Street. So it's the Dock Street Theater, but it is no longer on Dock Street.
So they renamed the street? Like, that's what happened?
No, it's in a whole different street. But it's still named Dock Street.
Okay,
so
sure.
We're going to get into all that.
Okay. Like, I'm not following.
So here is the late history. It was first built in February 12th to be exact, in 1736. So we're going pretty far back. Mm-hmm. Which, yes, horrible times. This original theater, though, the original Dock Street, it had a really short life. It's not completely clear why it was destroyed, but most believe it was burnt down in the Charleston Fires of 1740. Have you ever heard of the Charleston Fire of 1740?
I've barely heard of 1740.
Well, it's just everywhere I read, they made it out to be like this big deal that everyone knew about.
Yeah.
I didn't either, so I looked into it. And mainly, it was just this big ass fire. But back in the 1700s, of course, fires were a horrible threat to cities because everything was made of wood. Mm-hmm. And nothing was kept up like it should have been. Bad, like, just everyone was holding fire. They were just throwing fire everywhere. Candles, lanterns. It was horrible. And so once a fire started, it would just spread too quickly, and you could literally do nothing about that. When we visited Portland, Maine, the city of Portland has burnt down completely like 5 different times or something.
Wow.
Because they just kept building wood buildings. And so finally everything is brick now.
And you'd think after 2 or 3 they would have learned.
Maybe it was only 3. Maybe 5 was an exaggeration. I can't remember what the tour guy said, but he was like, literally this whole city has burned down multiple times. So we're like, how does that happen? So that also apparently happened in Charleston. So it was replaced with another theater, and it was open for 40 years, but that theater closed in 1780. And it was shut down because another theater opened. So it was just this strain of theaters in one small town back in the day. You don't need that many theaters. Okay, now we're going to talk about a hotel.
Huh?
It gets a little confusing. Like, this part, it took me a while to catch up also. So now we're in 1809, and it's Mr. and Mrs. Alexander Calder. They opened up the Planters Hotel, which I now know that planters are not farmers. That's just what my mind went to. I was like, oh, they plant things. Cool, let's go. But then when I learned more about it, I was like, how do farmers afford this? But now I get it. They're plantation owners. Okay, so they named it the Planters Hotel as a sort of a nod to the people that stayed at the hotel. During horse racing season, these people would journey from the Midlands and the Royal areas to catch the races in the big city. So they would go plantation it up, being racist and horrible and making their money, and then they would come to the city, the big city, and spend all said money at the hotel. Because there were horse races, and so they would get too drunk, too stupid to go all the way back home. And also, they couldn't take their mistresses back home, so where else are you going to take a mistress?
A hotel.
To a hotel.
That checks out.
Yeah, so why would you go home if you're having a good time in the city like that? 25 years after the hotel opened, so it ran this way for a long time. It was really successful. Like I said, it was pretty much the first hotel that was available to that, and they had upscale clientele, so they were flush with money. I couldn't think of the word for flush. It went through a big round of renovation in 1835. During this time is when it got this really specific style and look, and I'll show you pictures of that, because that's kind of what's still there today.
Ooh.
And it's what made it this big deal, because it was the first in maybe even the South as a whole, but definitely South Carolina, to have this sort of style.
Mm-hmm.
And so it became one of the most outstanding and important hotels. In its glory days, the hotel was known to host theater groups. So that was kind of interesting. They had put plays on still, even though it was a hotel. They had like a theater area. One particular troupe that crossed the halls there employed an actor by the name of Junius Brewstus Booth, a.k.a. the father of John Wilkes Booth.
I was about to guess that.
Yep. Who, the Lincoln shooter himself, at a theater. So there's a lot of theater ties that I thought was kind of interesting. So that was a cool little piece of tidbit. So I actually have a story about his stay at the hotel. You can kind of maybe see where his son got it from, which is not great. So according to rumor, Junius...
What a fucking name.
Like, I'm not even sure if that's how you pronounce it, but I'm going with it, because that's what it looks like to me. But it was in around... right here.
Yeah, that looks like Junius.
So in 1838, his troupe had just performed there, and they were just, like, hanging out at the hotel, and for reasons that aren't entirely clear, Booth became really angry and really violent, and he actually attacked the hotel's manager. He almost killed this man, and so clearly the whole family is a bit unhinged. Theater people, I guess, they're very... No offense to any theater people, but... theater people back in the 1800s, maybe. I don't know. So during all this time, that was just like a quick anecdote. It was in its glory days. It was hosting all these theater groups, bringing in the tourists, bringing in the money. But like most things in these days did not last. So a lot of unfortunate events took place fairly quickly in succession to the hotel that they just couldn't fight against. First of all, the big main thing is the Civil War happened. And that, of course, kind of fucked over everything. In the South, especially.
Good.
Yeah, good, but, like, nothing's gonna survive that, and we all know the history there. There's no way to stop that, either. So, a big, fancy hotel where your clientele are all these rich assholes, you're probably gonna go down pretty fast. After the war, though, the lavish hotel suffered the city's dwindling economy, which, of course, as we all know, the economy is going to dwindle after a big war. That's just normal. The city as a whole was struggling, as most cities were. The hotel just couldn't do it anymore. And then on top of that, to make matters worse, the already very neglected and quickly fading hotel was met with even more damage as the result of a really, really bad Charleston earthquake in 1886. So it was just hit after hit, but this particular earthquake was especially bad. It happened at 9:50 p.m. on August 31st. The estimated moment magnitude was a 6.9 or to a 7.3. And so I kind of looked it up because I don't really know a whole lot about earthquakes because we don't really get them here where we live. But the highest magnitude point can be is 10. So 7's pretty high up there.
Yeah.
A 7 just means it's very strong. Damage is likely to happen even to really high designed buildings. If it's like a really poor building, it's pretty much going to be demolished. And of course that leads to panic and fear because a 7 is definitely felt by everyone. There's no denying it's an earthquake, so that's going to induce fear and panic. And it actually led to a lot of deaths. I think I read that it killed 60 people, which might not seem like a whole lot, but back then to a national disaster like that, it's pretty good. Not good, but that's like a pretty good number. It's pretty bad. You know what I meant.
Brittany.
Okay, you're the one that said before we started recording that earthquakes are cool.
Okay, well.
Skylar is pro-earthquake, y'all.
Well, what I said was earthquakes are good. No, not good. That's not what I meant. I mean, like, earthquakes are cool. No, that's not what I meant either. I mean, earthquakes are interesting. I like earthquake facts. I think earthquakes are interesting to study about.
Okay, well then maybe you'll like this next tidbit, because this earthquake was also on the maximum Mercalli, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that, intensity of Roman numeral 10. So an X. And I had no idea what that meant. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I'm going to look it up. So basically the Mercalli, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that, scale, it differs from the magnitude in that the Mercalli actually measures the effects that are experienced at the place of the earthquake. So a 10 is actually the top of the intensity scale. So while the magnitude, they go like this in an up direction, so 10's up here and 1's down here, and a 7 falls here. But on the Mercalli, it's flipped, and so it's 1 and then 10, and then this one was a 10. And so basically that means it was just the most intense that it could have been. So that means, so as to kind of best what I could describe it as, I found a chart. And so at 3, the shaking is classified as weak. At a 6, it goes to strong. At a 9, it is violent. And then 10 goes to extreme. So this was extreme shaking, meaning buildings were just rocking everywhere, which is terrifying. I've only been in a couple of earthquakes, and they were very, very tiny. Have you ever been in an earthquake?
No, but I did used to think that we got earthquakes all the time because my dad goes like this when he's sitting down, and he would sit at the head of the table, like right in front of the china cabinet. Like the china cabinet would be right behind him against the wall, so when he was going like this, it would shake the china cabinet, and I used to think we had earthquakes, but I've never actually been in an earthquake.
That's cute. I think I've only been like 3 or so, but they were like on the scale like a 2 or a 3 probably. Mainly when I lived in Nashville, I think, is when it happened. But this particular earthquake, it also caused $5 to $6 million in damages to 2,000 different buildings. The hotel falled into that. So clearly that's a lot. So it's a war, it's a bad economy, and it's an earthquake that destroyed your building. It's hard to come back. So with all of that, basically back to back, the upkeep became just far too much for one man, because this is just this one couple, and I think maybe his wife at this point had died. But he basically was forced to turn his back on it, which is sad, because it was a really great and beautiful building. It stayed abandoned for 50 years. Then in the mid-1930s, an agency announced their intentions to renovate the building. They brought back to life the exterior, so it's the outside of the hotel now, or of the theater now, kept the hotel's exterior. So like they renovated that completely to make it like it used to be, which is the draw. And they even kept the balconies, the OG balconies, which is important to remember.
Okay. I like balconies. I want a balcony.
Yeah, I know. This, like, when I show you the pictures, this is a really cool building. But the inside was going to be different from the hotel. It was going to be reborn completely into a theater. And the old history of Charleston was in the back of these people's minds, and so the name that first came to them was the original theater, the Dock Street Theater. So that is how, to like play homage to the OG theater of Charleston, this Planters Hotel got
Isn't
renovated.
It homage?
It is. I was just gonna keep going.
I wasn't gonna let you.
Yeah, well. I say it both ways in my mind because I never speak out loud. Ever. But as a way to like play tribute or whatever, they decided to name the new theater the Dock Street Theater, even though they were on Church Street. So it gets a little confusing for tourists. Although I don't think Dock Street actually even exists anymore. I think now it's Queen Street. Fun fact. It remained open until 2007. It was forced to close, though, for some much-needed renovations, as it had been 70 years since they did all this, which, that makes sense.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, like, fair building, fair. After another 3 years, and, just a small $19 million, it reopened again on March 18th in 2010. Today, it's still kicking. I don't know to the extent of the pandemic. Like, as of today, I don't know. I didn't really get a chance. I ran out of time to actually look into that. But as of, I'm assuming March of 2020, it is still open. And you can still go there. And they do a whole season of performances by the Charleston Stage Company. And they also do a lot of concerts, musical acts, fun stuff like that. So it's just a really nice theater. It's really cool. Has a lot of history, but it also has ghosts. Skylar, yay. I know you're thrilled.
See, I was kind of with it. I was with it.
Did you like the history?
I did.
It wasn't too boring.
I liked the history. It was very interesting, and now we're gonna get into this bullshit.
It's not, because I think you're really gonna like these ghosts.
Okay.
You're gonna vibe with these ghosts, Skylar.
Okay.
So, obviously, this theater has been through a lot of history. 350 years worth, to be exact. Because that's a long time.
Is Gizmo barking?
That is my sugar glider barking. I don't know if it picked up in the mic. Have you ever heard him bark before?
Yeah, that one night I was here, house sitting for you.
Yeah, so he's hungry. I hope Richard feeds him. But yes, so he's awake. Anyways.
Because he's nocturnal.
Very good, Skylar.
Sugar gliders are nocturnal. They're also colony animals, so they want friends.
But mine doesn't.
That's okay. Yeah, Gizmo's a little shy. He likes to be by himself. He's like a grumpy old man, and that's why I love him.
He's the grumpiest old man. But yes, so 350 years worth of history is a lot. So naturally, you're going to draw a few ghosts to your calls. So a lot of the guests of the theater, they claim to see countless...
Don't say naturally. I just picked up on that. It is not naturally.
You don't think... Okay, well, we could have this argument every paranormal episode. But yes, old buildings that have had that much history around them, especially in this creepy South, are gonna have ghosts. Let's be honest. If you agree with me, let me know. So guests of the theater claim to see countless amounts of ghosts. They see spirits roaming the halls, they see ghostly shadows in the rafters, apparitions on stage, as well as an unexplained cold spots all throughout the theater.
Probably because it's an old theater. And
it's been renovated, Skylar. It's up to date, up to code.
Up to date buildings can still have drafts.
But not cold spots that come out of nowhere. That's not natural. But you know what is natural?
If you say ghost, I swear to God, I'm going to punch you across this microphone.
Ghosts are natural.
Oh, I'm going to start chugging this one just to get through this conversation.
Could you? It was.
I don't either.
Cold spots.
Yeah.
Ghosts are natural. So many think that these events are likely the ghost of failed actors or parts of the troops that used to kind of perform there in the heyday. There are many, many sightings of just all these different ghosts, but there are two particular ghosts that are seen over and over again. And we're going to talk about these ghosts. Any guesses as to who one of the ghosts are?
I know there was a girl that you talked about earlier.
Yeah, but I've only ever said one other person by name.
Julius Brutus Caesar.
Yes, Caesar walks the halls of the Dock Street Theater.
Wilkes. Both.
Junius Booth himself.
I knew one of the names sounded like Julius. I knew the other name was Brutus. And I got Julius Brutus. And I was like, it's got to be Julius Caesar.
I mean, I could see how you would get there, yes. But very different time period.
It's an anachronism. No, is anachronism the right word?
I don't know.
I think it is. I'm going to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's an anachronism. I remember things from AP Lit.
I was like, you were the English major, weren't you? I was not. I went to art school, guys.
I was never actually an English major. I was a nursing major, and then switched my major to an English major, and then I lost my scholarship, so I had to drop out.
All right.
Yes. Anachronism. So not an anachronism, it's anachronism. So it's a thing belonging. No, it's supposed to be not belonging. Yeah, an act of attributing a custom event or object to a period to which it does not belong. So the play Julius Caesar, the original writing, had a clock in it, like in the story.
Yeah.
Because clocks were invented at the time it was written, but in the time that the story was written, there were no clocks. But there was a clock in the story, so that's considered an anachronism. So Julius Caesar is an anachronism in this, except he's not actually in this story. I put him there.
I was about to say, does it count if you just inserted him on your own? Because my story does not mention him. In no form at all. Not even the same names. Junius is mine. And Booth.
It doesn't sound like... Didn't you say Junius Brutus?
Well, his middle name is Brutus, but I stopped using it.
Oh.
So I just call him Junius Booth now. I just call him Junie. We're tight like that. I'm just gonna call him Junie.
Yeah, with the violent guy that tried to beat up a hotel manager and his son killed Abraham Lincoln.
That's my crew.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Friends with you. How much worse could it get?
I haven't killed anyone.
You said you're mysterious, so I don't know that for a fact.
That was clearly a joke because I very apparently overshare every detail of my life because I have trauma and that's how I cope.
Yep, I drink to cope with mine. So.
I do that too.
Okay, on to this ghost.
Oh, right. I forgot we were talking about this.
Of Junius Booth. What's weird about people seeing his ghost is it doesn't make sense because he did not die in Charleston. He died in Louisville, Kentucky, actually.
Well, if you believe the whole thing about ghosties, isn't the whole thing is like where their spirit is tied to the most, even if they didn't die there?
Do you want to let me continue this fucking story?
Not really, because I'm kind of fed up already. But sure.
And apart from his small stay at the hotel with his troupe, and the story that he attempted to kill the owner, he doesn't really seem to have any connections or tie to the building.
Okay, sorry.
Nothing that would typically warrant a haunting, at least. There are stories, though, that claim later on in his life that he actually loved this theater. He was heard to say that there was nowhere else that he would rather be. So he did actually, I guess, was really fond of it, according to rumor.
Then he shouldn't get to haunt it. He sucked.
So at the very least, that could be a reason if he truly loved just being there in that time, whooping up on innocent hotel owners. Like, you know what? He's just like, man, that was the best time of my life. I don't know.
I'm gonna go beat up some ghost hotel managers.
Like, I guess if that's all it takes to tie you to a place, I could think of some people I'd like to fight with in the afterlife. I'm just saying.
Is it me?
We'll see after this podcast gets going a little bit more. We'll see how tight we get to that point.
I may be able to lift a lot of furniture, but I really don't know how to fight. It kind of makes me sad.
Yeah, I definitely think I could take you in a fight. I'm not worried. Um, and yes, it really, I guess, could be him to the guest. There are actually people who see him so often that there are researchers that have actually gone into researching all they can about him, and they do feel that it is actually his ghost. But other people, and I kind of also think that it could literally just be any other actor that ever performed there. Maybe someone that performed there a lot more often, because I'm sure actors in that time all kind of looked and dressed the same. Let's be honest. So I don't necessarily believe that it's him. But whoever it is, people claim from this particular ghost that they see his figure walking around the stage, breathing down their necks, and some even claim that he touches their necks. So neck fetish is what I'm getting from all of that, because there's a lot of neck play.
I don't like that. I like that literally. I like.
But you don't believe in ghosts. So
no, but I don't like people breathing down my neck or touching my neck. Like, just the thought of it, I'm like, ugh.
There could literally be a ghost touching your neck right now.
I don't feel anything.
It's because you don't believe. It's like Peter Pan.
I'd believe in Peter Pan before I believed it. I literally have the 2 stars from Peter Pan tattooed right here.
Yeah, I know. Okay, the most frequently spotted ghost, though, is the ghost of Nettie, who I am obsessed with this bitch.
I love that name.
Okay. So a lot of people claim that her name was Nettie Dickerson. I scoured and scoured.
I'm sorry, I'm a 15-year-old boy.
No, it'll get funnier.
Okay.
You'll see why people may be like, oh, this was her name, because they are also 12-year-old boys. But, I could not find anything about her. I couldn't find pictures, nothing, because this was, the 1800s, but still. And she was, well, you'll see, she was a nobody. But most people just didn't think she had a name. Like, they didn't care to know her name. So the nickname of Nettie just kind of stuck for this ghost. But a little background into some actual history. So we're leaving the ghosts for a little bit, Skylar. And we're going to talk about this person that I am obsessed with. She lived in Charleston during the 1800s. She could usually be found at the Planters Hotel. Why do you think she was at the hotel? Because she was a prostitute, naturally.
That was not my first guess, but that was my second guess.
Yeah, so she was there because she could make a living there, honestly. There was a lot of work because that's who hung out there with guys who were into that.
I mean, get your bag. Like, if you consent to
No.
How old is she?
25.
Okay.
We'll get there. But she was also, like, from what I could find, she was extremely beautiful, extremely witty, extremely intelligent. But, as you'll see, the patriarchy fucked her over.
Oh, no.
And
Nettie, I was rooting for you. I'm so sorry.
This is the sad story of Nettie. But she's a boss bitch, and I love her. Okay, so obviously she's going to have some strong ties to this building.
Yeah.
So, as far as her ghost, guests claim to see her gliding around kind of aimlessly, not really knowing what she's doing. They say she wears a very vibrant and beautiful red dress. Some people say it's tattered, so there's 2 different versions. But people say that even when the dress is very beautiful, she isn't in her ghost form. She's described that if you see her face, she is zombie-like, and that she is actually very scary looking, and that she looks like something that you would see in a haunted house. So it's very sad because she was very beautiful. She's actually said to be seen semi-frequently. For example, this was a foreman working on the renovations in 2008, Isaiah Nesbitt. He reported seeing her every single day before work. That's a lot for a ghost. When sightings do occur, oh my god.
Occur?
Yes. When sightings do occur, she appears to be cut off at the knees.
Oh.
Most explained it away, citing renovations that were done in 1936 when the second floor was actually raised 12 inches. So she could be unaware of, like, the renovation change, and so part of her is walking on the original floor. And just her ghost, it's not She's not fully loaded into the system, is what that means.
Okay. She's lagging.
Yes, there's a glitch in the Matrix. Some say, like, while a lot of people see her all the time and that worker saw her every single day, some do say that she kind of goes for months at a time here and there. But now we're going into the question of why would she haunt this theater. So we're going to kind of get into her sad story of Nettie.
Do I need to grab Todoroki?
No, it's not sad, it's frustrating. But it's also sad because she was a cool chick. Mm. So Nettie was a 25-year-old young country girl doing the best she could. Like all country girls, she dreamed of that city life. She wanted to escape, she wanted romance, she wanted excitement, she wanted to find love. So she came to Charleston in the early 1840s to find love. But in the 1840s, when you're 25, you're a spinster. You're a hag.
Yeah.
No one wants you. They want 17-year-olds. So she was very quickly, her dreams were crushed. Which is also disappointing because, like I said, she was whip smart and she was beautiful. And men would, like, lust after her, but then when they find out her age, they'd be like, oh, no, I'll have you for a night. And she was like, fuck off. You know, because she was just this young country girl who had dreams of how life would be better in this big old city. So it was very sad. As if her age wasn't enough, as if that wasn't one blow, there's also her status. So back then, also, status is very important, and she was literally a nobody. It was extremely rare for people to marry below their class, especially in the South, and especially in Charleston. Of course, this still happens today, and it's bullshit. Like I said, she was quite beautiful, and she was smart, but everything else, it didn't even matter. Like I said, they were more interested in lust, not love. Given that all her hopes and dreams for moving here were literally crushed, she had to look for work. So she actually started working at a church as a clerk. She was really good at it, and she got along really well with the priest, but she never felt like she belonged. She was very, like, salty about not being able to fit in with these men that thought that they were better than her. Mm-hmm. And it was said the church was, like, kind of across the street from the hotel. And on stormy nights, she would climb the bell tower of the church and spy on the men with their mistresses at the hotel. And then she, at the same time, at that church on Sundays that she worked, she would see them there with her wives. And it was just very hypocritical, and she was like, where the hell did these guys get off thinking that I'm not good enough when they're doing this shit in front of me, and I can see them? Mm-hmm. And it was literally just like fucking patriarchy. And so she was getting fed up, and she was like, I have to do something. I'm better than this. And so she was gonna quit her job. The priest literally begged her not to quit. They were really close friends. He liked her a lot. He wanted to help her. So she saved up all she could, and then she quit. And she just had enough. She had no hope or heart, really, for living in the city, and she was rock bottom. But she was also spiteful. So she went to the most upscale store in Charleston and bought the most expensive dress she had. Yes, a red dress that was beautiful. The kind of dress that all men were going to notice. Even if they already noticed her, they were going to doubly notice her. So it was a new dress, a new attitude for Nettie, and she went to the planters with a mission. And that mission was to take to the oldest profession and become a prostitute. Because if you can't beat them, join them. And she wanted to be a part of that life so bad. She was in the mindset for it, she had the attitude, and she was good at it. Like I said, she was easy to get along with, she was smart, she could match them toe-to-toe, and she was beautiful. She still went to church every Sunday, even during all of this, but that also entailed her being face-to-face with her clients' wives. And, you know, word spreads in a small town, and of course all of them knew what she did. But she was not a little lamb. She wasn't going to take any of that shit. So anytime they would give her dirty looks or gossip about her, she would walk up to them and be like, oh, that's so funny. You have such a great taste in a husband, even when their husbands were there. And she would basically call out all these guys for sleeping with her and then pretending nothing happened in front of their wives. And she'd be like, oh, yeah, you have great taste in men and all this. And, like, she was not gonna be meek about it. She would go head to toe with these snotty bitches.
Oh, what a bad bitch.
Yes, and she would just confront
Nettie,
them.
I would have fallen in love with you if I was alive, but back then.
She just, she's awesome. And I love her for that. But in that profession, you need to be discreet. So naturally, she lost all of her clients.
Yeah.
So she became penniless again and very depressed again. But it's like, what do you want her to do? Just roll over and take it? No, but anyways, it's very sad because she stood up for herself and she still ended up getting fucked over. Which is why I love her, but I feel so sad for her. Once again, she was pushed to rock bottom. She became very distraught. And so she snapped. So Nettie went out onto the second floor balcony of the Planters Inn, her room there, and in her red dress, and she stayed out there. There was this big storm coming in, but as I said, she liked to be in stormy nights in the hotel at the church, so storms didn't bother her. But the storm quickly intensified, and she began shouting out disparaging remarks against the Charleston's high society. She would just go up there and yell and be like, fuck you guys, I am as good as you, blah, blah, blah. Her priest friend on this particular night, he was really fond of her. He desperately tried to reason with her from the street, and rumor has it that she shouted down to him, "You can't save me," and then was struck by lightning and killed.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Very dramatic. I know, I was reading about her and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I like Nettie. And then, what the fuck, Nettie?
And then, like, when you said snapped, I was like, okay, maybe she jumped off the balcony, maybe she killed somebody, and then was like...
She was just shouting.
Yeah, and then she just got struck by fucking lightning. What?
And that was one version. So there's a second version that is... Either way, she's gonna die because of lightning. But in this other version, it said that one night her priest friend came to visit her at the hotel. He was trying to get her to come back to the church because she stopped going because of all of the hate and the women and stuff. But as he was talking to her on the balcony, the storm came in, a bolt of lightning hit the rail, and then that electrocuted her because she was, like, holding on to the rail. And then that caused her to die horribly from the shock. And then in that one, her last line is, "You can't help me." But either way, her last words were either, "You can't save me," or "You can't help me." And it's so sad, and I loved her so much.
Poor Nettie.
But yeah, that's pretty much the story of the Dock Street Hotel and the coolest ghost ever. The theater is still open for self-guided tours during the day. I don't know about right now, so you'll have to double check. I just kind of ran out of time before I could do that. And there is also a nighttime ghost tour that actually has a lot of people claiming to see full apparitions and stuff of ghosts.
Oh, I'm sure.
Maybe I'll just have to take Skylar to it one day when the pandemic is over. But yeah, that's the Dock Street. And that's Nettie, killed by lightning.
Very good.
I love
Not
her.
that she was killed by lightning. Very good. Like, it was a very good story.
That's the building.
Oh, that's
Isn't it
pretty.
lovely? And that's the original balcony. And as I mentioned, why they kept the original exterior, if she really was killed on her balcony. That could explain why she's still hanging around. And, I mean, if you got killed by lightning, I think your face would be a little fucked up. So, like, give Nettie a break, guys. But yeah, and that's the inside.
Oh.
Very beautiful. But like I said, I tried to find pictures of her, and I just couldn't. But a red dress babe, I'm all for it. And that's my story.
Yeah, she was looking for love. I would have fallen in love with her. I would have been like, yes.
Oh, yeah, she sounded awesome. And she, like, wasn't afraid to tell a bitch to fuck off and, like, you have terrible taste in men? Come on.
She would definitely, when my order was wrong at a restaurant, tell the waiter to please,
Yeah.
please take it back to the chef and fix it.
I could never do that.
I can't. Like, they could give me, because, like, you know how much I hate bacon. Like, they could just give me a plate of bacon and I wouldn't send it back because I'd be like...
You're just like, yes, bacon. I will stare at this.
I will stare at this. I will give it to whoever is with me because apparently everyone else likes bacon.
I can actually drink this now. It's fine.
It's gotten better now that I keep drinking it.
Hey, did you know that when you drink gross alcohol, it gets better the more you drink it, guys? Whenever you want to open that second bottle.
It's tolerable.
Because we have 2 bottles of this.
Yeah. Yikes. That's a big yikes.
But now I'm excited too. I hear Skylar has a bit of a tangent for us.
Yeah, I'm like a moth. Like, I just, anytime there's light, I'm like...
Oh my god, do you remember the moth memes? Those are my favorite memes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, those are funny.
I miss that time.
My new thing are raccoons. My Twitter display name on my Stan Twitter is 3 gay raccoons in a trench coat.
Nice. Raccoons are cool. I like raccoons.
I want a pet raccoon so bad.
I used to know someone with a pet raccoon.
That's so exciting.
And it was really cool. And I would just go to her basement, and her raccoon would be down there, and we would sit on the couch and watch TV, and he would just sit between us like a little human and eat hot dogs.
Oh my god! That's so cute.
And it was so cute. And then when we'd get up, and he wanted to get up with you, he would hold your hand and walk around with you.
I'm gonna cry.
So I got to hold a hot dog eating raccoon's hand. When I was really little, like, I don't even really know how I knew these people. I think they were just, like, friends of my cousin or my cousin's hairdresser, and then she had a daughter who was my age, and we kind of hung out, and they just had a raccoon in their basement. So whenever they were there to, like, get their haircut, I was like, I'm going to the raccoon basement, bye.
Yeah, I literally, like, woke up at one night. It was midnight. I woke up in a cold sweat, and my only thought was I need to have a pet raccoon and name it Ben. And, like, that was all I could think about.
Yeah, they're so chill, though. They just want to sit and eat food and hold your hand.
And I love that for them. I love a pet raccoon so bad.
I don't know how we got to
I
raccoons.
don't know where we started. Oh, I was a moth to the light. That's what it was.
Moths, raccoons. It's fun here, guys. Are you having fun? Okay.
They all said no. That was a collective no. They were like, I'm so tired.
No one's listening.
It's fine. We're at an hour and 7 minutes.
I know, and you haven't even done your story. Oh, I hope you guys like banter. Stupid banter.
But what I was going to do was I was going to do really good notes. Because I actually, like, I wanted to try, you know, I was really good at, like, English and, like, note-taking and writing essays and doing research all throughout high school and in college. So I was like, yes, I can do this. I even planned to write them out in, like, MLA format, like, handwrite MLA formatted notes with, like,
wow,
in-text citations. But then I got drunk, so then I didn't do any of that.
It's the story of my life, literally.
And so my only sources are BuzzFeed Unsolved and Ghost Adventures are my only 2 sources.
Jesus Christ.
Because what I was going to do is I was just going to do, like, a laid back, like, kind of learn about the story before I did actual research.
Yeah.
And so I was just going to watch some, like, shows about it so I could, you know, learn more about it, and then I would do actual research. But after I finished the Ghost Adventures episode, I got so pissed off, I quit. I was done. I was like, I can't look at this anymore. I can't think about this anymore because Zach Baggins fucking sucks. I hate him so much. I don't care if he blocks me on Twitter. Like, Christine, like, I want to be with her. I want us both to be blocked by Zach Baggins because he's so awful. Like, just everything he did. Me and my sister were making fun of him for that entire 43 minutes of that episode.
Yeah, I've never seen a single episode of Ghost Adventures.
Don't.
I only know of Zach through hearsay and word of mouth, so I am excited to hear your notes.
And I have...
And I love BuzzFeed Unsolved, so, like, they're great, but they're also kind of, like, make fun-of-y of stuff, so you're living up to your negative paranormal by not actually having any real research.
Because I was gonna work super hard on this because I wanted to like obviously I don't think that it's real, but I at least wanted to like put in an effort for like people who do and like at least try. But after the Ghost Adventures episode, I was like, fuck this shit. Like,
all right, let's hear it.
so I have 9 pages of notes, and 5 of them are me roasting Zach Baggins. So
I love that. And my segment was really long, so
let's go. So I'm going to be talking about the Goatman's Bridge. So
I know very little about that, but I do know some about it.
It's in Texas, I think.
You don't even know.
I wrote down the cities, but I forgot to write down the state.
Oh, what's the state?
Alton and Denton, I'm pretty sure is Texas.
I think that is Texas, but Jesus Christ.
I forgot to write it down.
Let me just double check.
The KKK appears at some point, so I'm pretty sure it was in Texas.
That could be anywhere in the South.
That's true.
Oh my god. Texas, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
I was right. I remembered things in my drunken learning state.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, and I will admit, like, it is a pretty sketchy bridge. Like, I would fall off of it for sure, because I can't walk in a straight line without injuring myself in 3 different ways. So,
Right.
So, like, I would probably die on that bridge. Not because of a ghost, but because I would fall off because I'm an idiot.
He's a demon, right? Not a ghost.
Well,
Okay, I don't know.
For the most part, everyone says it's a demon, but one of the theories, if that's the theory that is true, then he wouldn't be a demon. He would have to be a ghost.
Okay.
At least that's how I think it works. I don't fucking know.
You wouldn't, to be fair. You of all people wouldn't. Okay, let's go.
So the goat man is considered a demon.
Right.
Was my second bullet point. But I'm pretty sure that one of the theories means he would have to be a ghost.
Okay.
So, in 1884, the old Alton Bridge was built to connect Alton to Denton in Texas.
Right.
So, Alton had one person when it was established as like an actual city in 1848. Like, one person was like, this is a city now, and then it became a city. I don't know how that works, but it was 1884, so I guess it was fine. I don't fucking know.
I feel like something, like, you can just buy cities or, like, random unclaimed plots of land. Like, even today, like, people buy ghost towns, and then so they're, like, the only resident, and they're like, yes, this is my city. Like, that still happens today. I feel like something happened recently.
Should we do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously. Next question.
I'm like, I think we should do that.
We'll have raccoons and foxes and wine.
I think that's all we need.
And moths. I like moths.
Yeah, they're cool. Except when they fly right at my face. That kind of freaks me out a little bit, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Are you a light? They won't go to you.
No, I've literally had a moth hit me in the face before, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, it's because you're too sunny.
I'm a pessimistic ball of, like, anxiety.
You're much sunnier than I, though.
Okay, that's fair. It was the legal center. Everyone left.
The what? What? What's that sentence?
Okay. So, like, it was established with only one person.
Yeah.
And then, like, as it became, like, a city.
Okay,
Like,
I
it was a legal center that was, like, connecting Alton. Like, Alton was, like, the legal center. And then it connected to Denton, but it was, like, the legal center of Denton, but they were, like, 2 different cities, I think, is how that was explained.
Okay.
But then everyone left Alton. Like, everyone left Alton.
Okay.
So now it's not It might be today. I don't know. But back then it wasn't. The bridge is still isn't in use, at least. Which
You're
is
so good at research.
I told you I was drunk and pissed off. I didn't care.
Okay, no, I think I'm following. Okay, we're good.
Okay, so the bridge is no longer used for cars anymore. But pedestrians can use it. And, like, did they even have cars in the 1840s? Because that didn't make any sense to me. I was like, did they have cars back then?
They might have meant, like, wagons.
Okay.
Like, just vehicles, transportation.
Okay.
1840s. I mean, mine took place... There might have been cars, actually.
Like, actual cars?
Like, the old cars, yeah.
Interesting.
Do you want me to
I didn't think they had, like, real cars back then.
No, because my story was in the 1800s, and that was like, how else were the planters gonna get to their prostitutes?
Walk.
They're... Have you ever known a rich, racist white man to walk?
No.
Okay. Okay, so 1984. So I guess it was just, like, buggy, probably.
Okay. Well, that wasn't... Oh, no, that's 1984?
1984
was the first car.
That's what it said. I said, when were Cass? Oh. Once again, my phone fucked me up.
I was like, I know for a fucking fact it wasn't 1984.
Okay, 1885. So I thought there were cars.
Okay, so,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Well, that's why I was like, wait, really? Because I believed many wrong things.
I was like...
Thanks to movies.
I was like, hold on a minute. That doesn't... I was like, I know a lot of the times I'm like, that checks out. That did not check out at all. What did you Google the second time?
Cas. C-A-S. There was no R. I don't know what Cas is. But, guys, it was apparently invented in 19-something. June 30th. I caught that.
1984.
1984. Cas.
Because I was like, that's not... Because I was like, that's the same year. And then I was like, wait, no, you said 19. I'm like, wait, no.
No, yeah. So cars definitely were invented.
Okay. And apparently one of the most common things known to paranormal people, I fucking guess, is that bridges are used as portals to hell.
Obviously. Yes.
I don't understand, but okay.
Have you ever been on a bridge? That
Yeah,
explains
no,
why
Brittany.
I am so terrified of bridges. Because I'm
Never been on a bridge before.
Very
I've
attuned.
never seen a bridge.
to the mystic demon side.
Okay, so the goat man. He is
Yes.
half goat, half man.
Shut up.
He has hollow, glowing eyes and horns. Because what would he be without glowing eyes and horns? Hollow, glowing eyes and horns. So there are two theories of why the goat man is now on the goat man's bridge.
Yes.
Which is actually called the Old Dalton Bridge, but now it's known as the Goat Man's Bridge because
Officially?
What?
Like, officially, was it renamed to Goatman's Bridge, or is it still old, whatever?
It's still Old Dalton Bridge,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I was just genuinely curious. Because I feel like that's pretty cool.
That's what I remember, was that it's, like, still called Old Dalton's
Okay.
Bridge, but, like, everyone calls it the Goat
like
Man's
infamy,
Bridge.
yeah.
Yeah. So there are two theories as to why this half goat, half man with hollow glowing eyes and horns.
Really want to let that go, really. Give the man a break. Jesus.
So one of the theories came because Satanists opened the portal to hell by doing rituals, trying to summon a goat/satyr. So I guess Pan. Is that what Pan was a satyr?
Yeah. But Satanists don't... Isn't that, like, just a bad rumor that they actually do all that shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what everyone kept... Because my interpretation of it while they were talking about it was that they weren't talking really about Satanists. They were talking about cultists.
And what they think
Yeah.
back in their little tiny minds as Satanists. Yes.
Yeah. Because I was like, what you're describing is like...
Satanists are cool. They're peaceful people. It's fine.
Yeah. Like, a lot of the bad rep that Satanists get is not true. But what they were describing...
But cults, yes.
Yeah, so because what they were describing was more like cultist to me.
Okay.
But everyone, both BuzzFeed Unsolved and Ghost Adventures, kept saying Satanist. And I was like, Maybe I'm wrong, but it sounded like they were describing cultists. So I'm probably going to use... I want to use cultists, but I didn't want to, like, misinform based on my interpretation. But to me, it sounds
I also
like
think, like, the South, Texas, they probably use the term Satanist because it has Satan in it. And that's the end-all, be-all of evil. Looking at you, West Memphis 3.
Dude, that case fucked me up. Yeah. It made me so upset.
That's another episode.
So, will everyone be okay if I start using cultist instead of Satanist? Because I'd prefer to use cultist, because that's what I think they are.
I would be okay, because I don't necessarily agree with the term Satanist.
Okay.
As far as this stuff.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to, like, I didn't want to, like, make up my own...
I don't speak for either group of people, but...
You are neither a Satanist nor a cultist.
I'm not really anything, so I can't really speak for anyone. I like tea and incense. I'm wearing a witch's hat. It's fine.
Well, I'm going to start using cultists, so if anyone has a problem with it, you can DM us, because I'll probably be the one answering them, so...
Yeah, that's not me.
Yeah, so you can DM us. We can have a peaceful conversation about it, but I'm going to start using cultist instead of Satanist, because that's what I think.
Yeah, or you can DM me on Instagram, and I'll fight you. So...
Okay.
Peace or fight. You can pick. Because I have strong... The mythological and all the spiritual stuff, that's where I have strong opinions.
Okay, so the next theory was there... I gotta flip to another page. Okay, so there was a goat farmer or goat herder named Oscar. And he had put up a sign on the bridge saying, "This way to the goat man." And apparently the fact that he was a, like, successful goat herder and was, like, putting up signs so more people would come to him angered the KKK. So they lynched him in the middle of the night.
Because he was black?
Yeah.
Okay. I figured KKK, but I just want to make sure.
Because the KKK is awful.
A terrorist group, even though they aren't officially a terrorist group.
They should be.
Yep.
Them and the Proud Boys should both be, which I'm honestly convinced they're one and the same, but we won't get into that. That's a story for another time. Story for another time. But when they looked down, he was gone. So he was no longer, like, he wasn't there anymore.
Okay.
So then they burned down his house and killed his entire family.
Sure.
And now Oscar haunts the bridge as a half-goat, half-man.
Literally don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would too. But then, so that theory, if those are the two theories, I feel like that would make the goat man a ghost, right? Since it was a living human that was now haunting the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think outright that would be a demon. I guess it would... People have so many opinions on demons. So I guess it would just depend on how, I guess, long maybe it lasted or the circumstances. I'm literally not an expert. I just like demons and ghost stuff. But from my understanding, ghosts are people that have passed and are clinging to something that's keeping them here. Or they're just specifically tied to a certain place. And then demons are literally, like, kind of summoned from an unknown being area. Not necessarily hell, I don't think. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess the question is, can a ghost turn into a demon? If it's angry enough.
I don't know.
Because poltergeist then kind of...
But I feel like poltergeist wouldn't be considered a demon either.
No, but I wonder if a ghost can turn into a poltergeist, then could that same thing be one extreme to another? You could eventually be a demon.
Maybe.
I literally don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Because I guess my interpret was always demons are living, non-human things Ghosts are dead human beings, I think is what I was kind of... So, but if that's not the case, then that's not the case. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know.
Honestly, I think that's the thing. I think everyone has their own idea. Mm-hmm. And so instances like this, everyone's going to have their own opinion or their own story or their own term for what is what.
Okay.
And I think that's okay because we weren't there. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like, literally, we don't know. There's no way to know.
But nonetheless, there's no record of this hanging, so it, like, probably wasn't real.
Well, but why would there be? It was white guys hanging a black man.
I feel like there would still be record
for no
of it.
reason.
But I agree that it was for no reason because they're just racist and they suck.
Yeah, so why would they feel the need to make a record of it? Is my question, because we don't do that now.
I feel like there should be a record of it.
There should be, but that doesn't mean there was, because people suck. And if they feel like, oh, this person is nothing, why write it down? Why make a record? You know?
Yeah, I guess. That makes sense.
I think it's very viable that it could have happened, but...
me be... Because, like, I was like...
You're very logical.
I was like, well, if this happened, then there should be a record of it. And then there wasn't.
Because you are a young person who knows right and wrong, yes. Yeah, it was not always that way. It's still not that way. Yeah, there should have been, but I don't think that necessarily means there was, and if there wasn't, I don't necessarily mean that that's false then. Because I question the ethics of the past white men
of
white
the
men world.
Suck. It's like that thing from New Girl, and it's like, a white man broke in today.
What did security do? Nothing.
Typical! Yeah, I was like, a white man? No!
Oh my god, that was my fave. Like, yes, horrible, but that was my own... TikTok was my only saving grace on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, I was about to say January 6th. That was Wednesday.
Yeah. It was just... and that TikTok was just perfect.
It's the only thing that brought me some sort of, like...
Because it made sense.
Yeah.
It was logical.
Yeah.
A white man broke in today.
A white man? No!
What
did security do about it?
Nothing.
Typical!
Fucking, God, New Girl. New Girl's a great show, for one. Highly recommend.
But yes. So,
anyway.
Probably saying that there wasn't a record, so that means it's false, isn't necessarily the right way to say it. But for me, when I was like, oh, there's no record of it, that means it probably didn't happen. But
I get it, because
I was like, oh, if it happened, then there should be a record.
Yeah, and you were probably also going in it from a ghost point of view. Like, oh, well, then this is obviously fake, because I don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
But not necessarily ethically. Like, yeah, this is no record, but it kind of still happened. I get it. I completely get it. I just
so that's my bad, guys.
No, I just kind of wanted to throw my 2 cents in.
No, and thank you for doing that, because that definitely makes a lot of sense. So, yes. And now I'm going to get into things that have happened off the bridge. So, someone was thrown off the bridge, question mark.
Escalated real quick.
Note the question mark.
Okay. Explain.
I got very drunk at that point. I was not sure what was going on.
Skylar.
And they could have just honestly fucking fallen off the bridge. I know I would fall off of this goddamn bridge. I know it. Mm-hmm. So, also people have reported hearing a growling voice say, "Get off the bridge." Because that totally couldn't be a random person, like, pulling a prank. Like, I would be the asshole in the friend group being like, "Get off the bridge." Like, that would be me. I would be that asshole. So apparently, one guy left the bridge, and his friend stayed on the bridge, and he, supposedly, saw his friend get dragged off the bridge and flipped into the water. And I was like, that would have happened to me, because I would have fallen off, which is probably what happened to the friend. He probably just fell off. And since it was the goat man's bridge, the friend was like, OMG. He was thrown off and flipped into the water. Because I bet the friend didn't bet him $10 if you do a backflip.
Okay, but I feel like there's a difference between falling and being thrown in both of these instances.
There was no thrown in this one.
Okay.
Dragged, flipped.
Well, I mean, dragging. How do you fake dragging?
Who says he actually saw it?
He does.
Who's to say he's not lying?
But that's not the point.
I don't believe any of this shit.
I know.
So, and also some people heard hooves chasing them off the bridge.
Yeah, he's a goat man. Why wouldn't you hear hooves?
So, and apparently you can summon the goat man by knocking 3 times on the bridge, because apparently the goat man responds to knock-knock jokes, I guess. You just have to knock 3 times.
He's a polite man. Like, why wouldn't you knock to come onto his property?
You don't have to knock to get on the bridge. To summon him, you have to knock on the bridge.
Still nice.
Someone probably tried to summon him, and he was like, haven't you heard of knocking? And he was like in the middle of the shower or something in the river down below. So now everyone has to knock.
Same. I don't blame him. I also wouldn't answer, so it's fine.
So people have disappeared on or around the bridge or in the surrounding woods for over a century, because apparently that's cause for concern, since it's so difficult to get lost in abandoned places and not know where to go and die there, or IDK get murdered, because killers would have the easiest time there, since there's not a lot of witnesses and everyone would just be like, ooh, Goatman Demon Dude did it. And also there's apparently a ghost woman in the woods who laughs a lot. There was literally nothing else about it.
Okay.
There was nothing else about it. It was like, there is a ghost woman.
Also, and there's this woman. She likes to laugh. It's fine.
There's a ghost woman.
We're keeping an eye on it.
And lights are seen, because you totally can't see headlights from there. And you can, because I watched the video, and you can clearly see fucking headlights everywhere.
Your segment is literally just you be like, and this happened, but clearly it was this, and this happened, but okay, but Oh, what happened to you? Who hurt you that you don't have imagination, Skylar?
I write every single day. I'm working on a book. What do you mean I don't have imagination?
What happened to your youthful, hopeful spirit?
So, cultist rituals were happening in the woods.
Naturally.
They found animal remains as evidence of sacrificial rituals. And actually pet stores stopped selling cats because of this. And that, really made me sad. I was kind of torn up about it for a good 30 and a half minutes. 30 and a half?
Yeah, I don't like cat stuff.
Yeah, me either. It made me very upset. Don't worry, I won't go into any details. Okay. It was just to let you know that, it was so bad that pet stores stopped selling
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
So, and now I'm going to talk about BuzzFeed Unsolved
experience. We're here for the cult stuff.
With the Goatman Bridge that they did. So, Shane and Ryan heard screams and the word fuck in the woods, but there's no source, and it could be anything. I'd be screaming in the woods and saying fuck if I saw a spider or something. Or was about to be murdered by cultists, so.
It could be a demon. And cultists, I think, play into a goat man. Okay, so maybe this guy was a ghost, like you said, and then these fucking cultists, probably white guys.
I just think the cultists are, fucking around and killing people, and then also fucking around with people.
Yes, and they could have came in, and they could have done all this bullshit, and they could have made this peaceful ghost into the demon that he is, the goat man. I think that's
Can
how...
they do that?
Probably because they fucking suck. Because you're in a cult. If you're killing cats apes and people in the woods, why wouldn't you try to summon a demon? And then the one spirit that's just stuck there wandering around gets trapped in your fucking bullshit, and he is turned into this demon. And now people are fucking with his bridge, knocking on it, and he's just like, get off my bridge, go away, I don't even want to be a demon. Like, I can get it.
And see, like, if I actually believed that this stuff was real, that step process makes sense.
Good.
They also heard a snap, which could literally be like anything. Like, you're in the woods.
Yeah.
That could be an animal stepping on a twig or anything. Then they also did the spirit box thing, and they heard Goatman, Bridge, and Steve over the spirit box. I should probably talk about how the goat names Demon Steve.
Oh, I mean, yeah, because I was like, Steve, okay, like, Stephen Lim? I know he knows them. so he's the goat man? What? This whole time?
Okay, so people have heard the name Steve on EVP, which could be what the goat man or another demon is going by. Which, by the way, what fucking demon goes by the name Steve? And like,
okay, but his name was Oscar, right?
Yeah, the goat herder's name is Oscar.
Okay, I was just checking.
So, but the goat man's, apparently, his name is Steve, is what everyone is going with.
But if I was a ghost and I became a demon, I'd probably change my name too, because that's a bad connotation.
Yeah, but to Steve?
Because fuck Steve, and maybe you hate being a demon. And you're like, hey, I hate this, let's pick the stupidest fucking name ever. Sorry if your name is Steve. But
Steve's just not a very, like,
come on,
scary demon name.
Okay, but
my dad's dad was named as Steve.
Yeah, but is the goat man supposed to be scary, or is it just because he's a goat man with a bridge? From what I hear, it sounds like he likes people to knock, he tells people to go away, and he just wants to chill, and like, that's me.
Okay, but apparently he's also thrown people off the bridge and flipped them into the water and chases them with his hooves, and he also apparently scratches people. We get to that later. And by scratches people, I mean, I've literally seen pictures. It looks like poison ivy. It looks like someone just got fucking poison ivy. And they're like, oh my god, I got scratched by the goat man. And I'm like, okay. Also, how can he scratch people? He has hooves.
Again, I say, I've done all those things. Is he evil? Question mark. Why?
You scratch people? Just for fun?
I don't want to talk about it, Skylar. But, like, you've never scratched someone in your life? I was a very troubled child. It's fine, but, like, I don't know. I don't think he's evil, from what he's never killed anyone.
I'm kind of here for the goat man, because
I feel like he's just fucking with people.
I literally texted you. I'm like, I kind of want the goat man to be real, just so he can throw Zach Baggins off of a bridge.
You did text me that, that's true.
I was like, I will believe in this stuff just so Zach Baggins can get thrown off of very tall things. I hate him.
Yeah, like, I don't get, like, this, like, end-all, be-all evil vibe from what I've heard so far, so I think Steve fits. It's just this fucking guy, Steve, he's like, get off my goddamn bridge.
He's Gizmo. He's Gizmo if Gizmo was a goat man.
He is my sugar glider. my sugar glider scratches me all the time. And
We've cracked the case.
We've done it. Case solved. My sugar glider is the goat man.
No more BuzzFeed Unsolved. I can write Shannon Ryan right now and be like, we solved the case.
He goes to Texas every night. He's like, when people knock, and he's like, what the fuck do you want?
It's like, I haven't had my tomato yet.
I need my mealworm. Anyway. Yes, I am opening the second bottle of the gross wine because it got better.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I'm actually kind of here for it. I'll take some more if you want to.
I didn't know if you did or not.
So, and also people report being thrown, dragged, and struck or scratched 3 times.
Struck like bitch slapped?
I guess so.
Okay. Here for it. I like the goat man, guys.
or scratched 3 times, which is common in demon attacks because it's mocking the Holy Trinity.
Yep.
And then they also are overcome with violence.
Okay.
Okay, so now that I've explained Steve.
Steve!
So Shane and Ryan heard Goatman, Bridge, and Steve over the spirit box. I didn't hear it because I'm hard of hearing, so I was just going off captions.
Yeah, so that means nothing because Skylar literally can't hear. I work with her. She can't hear.
Yeah, so I literally most of my things, like when it was like, and they heard this over the EVP or this over the spirit box, I'm like, I'm reading the captions of what they heard. I can't hear it, but whatever, but that's on me. I have scarring in my eardrums. I can't hear it. Like, it's my bad. I should do better.
Okay. Yeah, you should.
But I think, like, one of the things about spirit box is they pick up on radio interference a lot. And all of them were one-word things. Like, they were just one word. So if it is picking up on radio interference, my thing is, like, if it's a local radio station, like, who's to say, like, they weren't just talking about it on the radio?
That would still be very coincidental, I feel like.
It would be. Yeah, like, I even admit, like, but I'm saying just, like, who's to say, like, that's not what happened.
No, yeah, completely.
But that's, like, if they did hear it, and who's to say that they even did hear it? Because, like, I couldn't hear. I was just going off the captions, so I don't necessarily know.
I think spirit boxes are very cool. I would really like to own one. I think it is very circumstantial and kind of opinionated, and if you hear something and you put text, you can manipulate other people to hear the same thing. Like, yes, I get that. But if you clearly hear something and you're, like, gung-ho about it, I think that's cool, too. And I think that's fun, and why not?
The worst thing about the spirit box, though, is the fucking sound. I can't stand it. It hurts my head so bad.
It is pretty bad.
And they also did a Ouija board, but nothing happened. Now we get on to this fucking bitch.
I'm so excited. I've never watched this show before.
So, this episode starts off
of Ghost Adventures.
Yes, this is Ghost Adventures now. If you couldn't tell, I love Shane and Ryan. I'm here for Shane and Ryan.
Yeah.
Shane, please be my best friend.
Me too.
Ryan,
like
you too.
You also. Because me and Ryan, we're the same. We believe.
Me and Shane
but
are the same.
I have Shane's personality also. It's fine.
I probably have Ryan's personality, but with Shane's skepticism, and you have Ryan's
belief. We're the
belief.
opposite. Yeah. We're the female, but switched.
So, this episode starts off of Ghost Adventures with Zach, who literally jumped the railing at the entrance of the woods at his big ol' age of fucking 40 or however old he is, and said, "Spirits of Goatman's Bridge and Forest, we hope you welcome us."
Oh my god.
And this is when I was really like, I honestly hope the Goatman is real because I want him to fuck Zach Baggins up. I had to pause it and get up and get more wine. I was done at that point already. I don't even fucking understand. So, and then there was this lady he interviewed named Belinda.
I'm sorry, Belinda's of the world for laughing at your name.
But she took a picture of a shadow cloaked figure, which literally was just a fucking blob that looked like this.
Do you have references? I want to see this picture.
It was handwritten.
Well, I didn't know if you, like, looked it up on your phone or something. I had pictures, I'm just saying.
You watch an episode of Ghost Adventures and tell me how soon you quit.
I really don't think. I mean, maybe I could if I was drunk enough. We'll get there, maybe.
But literally, it was just a semicircle. It was just a semicircle. And
according to Skylar.
It literally was. Like, and it was a cloaked figure. Mm-hmm. And she had 3 scratches on her arm. Didn't show a picture of that one. It never showed her arm. It never showed a picture.
Well, it probably faded by then, I would assume. Right.
Well, the other one had a picture. Okay. It didn't show it, but it had a picture. that they put up. And then in 1977, a girl disappeared, and the police found a 25-year-old woman with a teddy bear, which doesn't sound supernatural to me. It just sounds like two crimes, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I think for me, it could go.
Oh, yes. Another woman, didn't get her name because I was drunk and ranting about how annoying Zach Baggins is to my sister, felt a burning sensation and got scratch marks. This is the one with the picture.
Okay.
I looked at the picture. I paused it to actually look at the picture. It looked like a poison ivy rash. I'm not even lying to you. It looked straight up like a poison ivy rash.
But it happened
like poison oak rash.
Right then and there? Or she was like,
they did not elaborate. She was like, this happened.
Okay.
I got scratches, and then it was the picture.
Okay. Where is... I've never watched an episode. I don't know how they do these shows. So where is all this interview happening? Is it happening in the area, or is it happening at another location?
It's in the area, but it's all about past experiences. So they took Belinda, they took this lady, and there's this other woman named Lisa who had been
so it's
in the area before, and then they brought him back. And
so
did
it's
an
an
interview
old
there.
photo.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. It didn't like happen on camera.
Yeah, no.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't know. There's no way to know. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's no way to know, but I'm just saying, kind of sketchy. And then she said she wanted to punch everyone.
Well, I mean, same.
In her, in the little group that she was with that went to the woods when she got the burning sensation and the scratches, she then felt like she wanted to punch everyone, which if we went back to what I said earlier, apparently the thing about the goat man is one of the things he does is people feel violent because of him. And then Zach asked her, did you want to kill them? Which I had a big problem with because that is such a fucking leading question, which is like 101, don't do in interviews or interrogations. Do not ask them a leading question. If she said she felt violent and wanted to punch everyone, your next question shouldn't be, did you want to kill them? It should be, did anything else happen? Did you feel anything else?
That's fair.
Because memories are so manipulatable.
Pliable also, I think, would work.
Yeah, let's use that one. Pliable. So to ask a leading question like that, I just feel like that wasn't cool of him to do.
I mean, I think that's pretty sucky. So I'll give you that. It's like with children claiming to see things or experience things, never lead them on, because then it gets like a gray area. But if they just forthright tell you, I think that's cool and interesting. And
especially since they're children, when they're that young, to like try and lead them in a certain direction like that is very like, you're clearly trying to get something
definitely
out of that.
But I also think adults are no different, and we're easily led to like, yeah, I wanted to kill someone, or like, yeah, I saw her hit that guy, or yeah, that guy shot someone. Like it's all very, you know.
And I actually, when we ever spin psychology, I do have like a whole bunch of research on memories and how manipulatable they are. Cool. So that will be a fun episode. And like also people lie or exaggerate on TV, especially on TV, because like Ghost of Adventures is like this big like TV show, so I think that people could exaggerate.
Can I ask, at this episode, do you know how popular the show is at this point? Or what season or episode it's on?
It was like season 12.
Oh,
season
so it's been a long
It
for
wasn't one of the earlier seasons.
Yeah, that's also stuff I don't necessarily like when people put on airs for TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there was this other woman. Her name is Lisa Oliver. She has a friend who is a sensitive and was communicating with some entity who told her to get off the bridge. And the friend said no. And then Lisa turned around to see her friend 2 feet off the ground and get thrown against the railing and dropped. So apparently the goat man was trying to throw her off the bridge. I'm assuming that's what happened there.
Okay.
which is kind of fun.
Yeah, like, I don't really have anything to say about that, because, like, if it's fake and she actually just, like, fell off a bridge, cool. And if it's real, like, good for Goat Man. I don't know.
But, like, see, the thing is, like, if I'm ever gonna believe in goats or, like, goats.
Skylar doesn't believe in goats, guys. Goats aren't real. It's 2021.
I believe in goats. Goats are real. Goats are a real thing. Ghosts. If I'm ever gonna...
Goats aren't real.
If I'm ever gonna believe in ghosts, I'm gonna need to be levitated 2 feet off the ground and then thrown off of a fucking bridge. Like, that's what's gonna have to happen.
So it won't take seeing something.
No.
You need to be physically interacted with?
Yeah, because if I just see it, it could be my imagination. Or I could be like, oh, I'm in this tense situation, my mind is playing tricks on me.
Right, but you're blind. So if you see a full-blown see-through person, you're not gonna take that personally?
Maybe. Yeah, because, like, let's say that there was, like, a full person walking up those stairs.
Yeah.
My first thought wouldn't be it was a ghost.
Okay, but what if you saw a pale person shut that door? You would think that was Richard? Or a draft? Or you'd be like...
If a pale person, yeah, I'd be like, that was kind of freaky, that's probably a ghost.
Probably. Okay, I mean, no, I'm just genuinely curious what it would take for you.
I guess saying like a full.
But you were apparition. Like, they have to lift me up and toss me
because I've always been
around.
like, because my whole thing is like, I've told you, like, if I'm gonna believe in ghosts, like, I need to be killed by one, like.
Right, but that would be casual if that literally happened right now.
Because I would try and explain it away first,
but you couldn't.
Yeah, and then I'd be like, okay, so maybe
I could never come here again, Brittany. And I'll be like, Brittany's never existed.
But, like, the orb thing, or seeing lights, or hearing sounds, or... I'm like, I can't put that much behind it. Like, I just think that could be literally anything. Mm-hmm. And then, but when people say, like, oh, I've seen a full-body apparition, I'm like, did you? Or are you, like... Who's to say you're not lying? Like, what if you're lying?
We can get into that, but I am one of those people. So do you think I'm a liar? Is the question. That's where I have problems with you.
Are you sure you saw
a
full body? You're sure?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, we can get into this in like a personal paranormal episode or something, but we're almost at 2 hours, Skylar. I need you to finish your segment.
There's a lot. Okay, so Ashley,
this bitch, Ashley.
The photographer for Zach Bagans' team. She's Jay's wife.
Oh, I went to school for photography. For photographer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I working for Zach Bagans, huh? Interesting.
Is your name Ashley?
Oh, actually.
What? Don't actually? What? No!
I asked my mom what my original name was going to be, and it was Ashley.
Mm.
So, fun fact, I could have been.
My options were Ashby.
Oh.
Like Ashby. Ashby.
Ashby.
It's a family name.
Interesting.
And then,
oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My great-grandma. So, yeah, I was like my granny's mom, which would be my great-grandma. Her name was Lockie Ashby.
Oh, cool. Yeah, my mom was going to name me Ashley, and then my cousin was going to be named Brittany, but he was born a boy, so he became Brian, and my mom stole the name Brittany. Because I guess she liked it.
And then my other option was Rhiannon, because my dad really liked the Fleetwood Mac song.
I mean, I don't blame him. That'd be a cool ass name.
But then apparently...
Skylar's a cool name too, though.
Well, what happened with that was my mom, when she was in labor, was like...
Don't tell me it's something about a sky.
No.
Okay.
My dad gave my mom 2 options while she was in labor. He was like, Skylar or Brooklyn. And my mom picked Brooklyn. And then my dad wrote Skylar on the birth certificate.
Okay, but first I'd be like, you're giving me 2 options? And just push this kid out? Fuck off. Sorry to your dad, but like, what?
Because they couldn't agree on a name. So he was like, okay, these 2 I really like, Skylar or Brooklyn. And she was like, Brooklyn. And then he just went and wrote Skylar on the birth certificate because I guess he didn't like Brooklyn that much either.
Actually, I like both of those names. Mainly because I really like the book and the movie Brooklyn, which is about, I think Saoirse Ronan was in the movie. It's a good movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
You haven't seen a lot, but we'll get into that on the movie segment of the podcast.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, Ashley the photographer. Okay, so apparently she didn't look like herself and was having anxiety. Like, me too, every day. Been there, done that.
Same.
Did that 30 minutes ago before I came here.
Yep.
30 minutes? We've been here for 2 hours.
Yep. I'm still there. It's fine.
And then Zach said her eyes held evil. Probably because she hated you. Zach then told Jay, "This is your wife. What's wrong?" Okay.
Oh.
And Jay went, "I don't know." He literally went, "I don't know." Like, even he knew it was bullshit. Like, even Jay knew it was bullshit. He was like, "I don't know." I was like, what the fuck?
I'm getting paid to say this.
Huh?
He's like, I'm getting paid to say this. I don't know.
I don't know. And then Zach was like, "Are you feeling anger, violence?" Which was another leading question, to which she nodded. And then he said, and this is what really got me. This is exactly the way he phrased it. "Are you wanting to do violence to me?"
Yes, always yes.
He's literally so, I can't stand him. "Are you wanting to do violence to me?" But it's fine. So then they sent, this is my first all caps section. So there's this other guy named Billy. I'm actually on Billy's team. I support Billy.
Okay, we stand Billy.
He's one of the, apparently the only, like, person on the whole team who can do anything like, what's the thing for boats? Naval?
There's lots of things for boats, Captain.
No, he's like the only one who knows anything about, like, naval navigation or whatever.
Oh, I don't know the term.
I think it's naval, because, like, navy, naval, right?
And that's your belly button, but maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I think it's your belly button too, but I also think it's...
We can go with it.
Anyways,
I don't care to
basically
look it up.
he's a boat guy. So,
navigate? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, but he's a naval navigator. Like, he's a boat navigator.
He's navigates a belly button navigator.
He navigates boats.
I bet he does.
So, they sent him down the river by himself and told him to go 3 or 4 miles where there would be no cell service and he would no longer be able to connect to them over the walkie-talkies. Which one? Why the fuck are you sending Billy down the river at night by himself where he will have no cell service and out of the walkie-talkie range? Like, do you literally want him to die? Are you sending him to die? Is that what you want from Billy?
Can I ask what kind of boat?
It was a canoe. It was a fucking canoe.
That's what I figured, but I wanted to make sure because I was like, what kind of boat do I need to picture right now?
A canoe.
Okay, that's not a boat. What's a canoe?
A little shitty canoe that he had all of his equipment in, which literally the canoe started taking on water while he was down the river, and as he was getting into the boat, he almost tipped it over, and I was like, he's gonna die. He's gonna fucking drown. And no one's gonna know. I felt so bad for Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Because, like, the spirits and the demons and the spirits and the goat man aren't the, like...
Spirits and the demons. Plural. Demons! Everywhere. Zach Baggins is a demon.
Because, like, to me, I'm gonna start saying, like, to me, those are not real. But demonic cultists and murderers and drowning are all very real things that could have happened to Billy while he was down the river by himself at night.
How old was Billy? Do we know?
I don't fucking know. He looked like he was in his mid-30s.
Okay, so he's fine, Skylar. He's literally fine.
Even professional swimmers can drown if something bad happens.
Well, obviously, but he's in a canoe.
The canoe was taking on water! But it's fine.
Is it?
No.
You turned that page so violently.
I felt so bad for Billy.
Poor Billy. R.I.P.
So it's nighttime at this point, if you couldn't tell by how I kept screaming about how Billy was in the canoe at night by himself.
I gathered, yeah.
So Ashley decided she wanted to brave her demon that is her, personal grudge with the goat man. She was like, I'm going to go out there and face him. And then she said some stupid ass fucking thing. I didn't even care to write it down because I was so done. I was like, I can't be here. So apparently Ashley felt something hit her, and then she fell to one knee, and then had like this just like red spot on her cheekbone. Like right here, like where her head and her cheekbone.
Yeah.
Like her temple and her cheekbone. And on Hulu, before every ad, they do like a coming up that was in the actual episode when it was like on TV.
Yeah.
And so it was like, and then in the coming up, and it was like she had blood on her face from where she was hit, and then it goes to the actual thing that happened, and she just has a red spot. And I was like, oh, I wonder if something like could have fallen and hit her, like, and then it was like, but she had blood dripping down her face where she was hit and then fell, and then it goes and it's just a red spot, and I was like, okay,
Ashley.
so
Ashley.
because I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't actually know what could have fallen and hit her and caused that much blood. Like maybe, like, but then it was just a fucking red spot. I'm like, it literally could have been a goddamn acorn, like that fell from a tree.
Right.
But and she also heard something growl, which could have been a multitude of like any forest animals that know how to growl.
Yeah, it would depend on the growl, I think.
I don't know how to differentiate between growls.
I didn't know if it was recorded
I could
or
barely
not.
hear the growl, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And
but it would still be scary.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be like, oh my god, goat man. I would be like, oh my god, bear trying to eat me. Is it a black bear? Do I need to throw things at it? Or is it a brown bear? Do I need to lay down and play dead?
I don't know. If I was fucking...
Actually, is it the other way around? Is it a brown bear you need to throw things at it and make a lot of noise? A black bear you need to lay down?
Brown bears are much more dangerous than black bears.
So the
black bears are pretty much deterred by noise.
So black bear is the one you need to throw things at it and make a lot of noise.
Yeah, because I used to live in the mountains and we'd go hiking, me and Richard, and I would always be like, well, what if we come across a bear? And he's like, as long as they can hear us and we make noise and we have our dog, we're fine. Because they're pretty, like, scaredy.
Yeah. But I just didn't want to give you guys wrong bear facts, and then you end up getting mauled by a bear because of me.
No. Don't fuck with a brown bear, and don't fuck with a polar bear. This is a PSA. Thank you. Okay.
So, but at least with brown bears, you can play dead, and then usually it'll leave you alone. Just try and cover your face.
Yeah, I don't think that's 100%, but
no,
yes.
It's not 100%, but it's your best option. Polar bear,
you're dead.
If you see a polar bear, they've been tracking you for days and are ready to sign your death certificate.
And RIP will remember you on this podcast if you DM us on social media. Okay, go on.
Yes. And then she saw a weird light. I don't know. So
she heard growling, saw a light.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, the light was kind of like a weird shape. It was kind of like it almost looked like a light bulb shape. but it didn't, like, you couldn't tell it was a light bulb. Like, it was shaped like a light bulb.
Could you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I was like, and, you know, like, that, you know, maybe it was supernatural, like, a light bulb shaped weird light. Because it wasn't, like, the reflection of eyes, which comes up to play later.
Okay.
Because it wasn't that. It wasn't, like, a car headlight that you could see. So I was like, I don't know, like, maybe there is something out there, but, like, I don't know, with all kinds of gear out there, it also could have been a reflection off something, so, but who's to say it wasn't a odd, supernatural, freaky-deaky light?
Who's to say? No one.
So, and then Billy, who is still down the river, and Ashley, who is getting hit in the face and seeing a weird light and hearing growling, because apparently just every fucking thing happens to Ashley. They both heard a gunshot. So, and the woods were secured by police perimeter, but still, like, gunshots can be heard from miles away. It's not that startling. I hear hunters all the time at my house, like, even when they're, like, in the woods down the road. Like, you can still hear them. I don't know, maybe it's just because I live out in the middle of nowhere.
I think a gunshot is still really startling to hear.
No, the way they were, like, freaking out about it, they were like, there was no way that this could have happened. There was no way that this gunshot could have happened. Where could this gunshot have come from? I'm like, it could have been a hunter, because even though the woods were surrounded by a police perimeter, those woods were fucking huge.
Okay.
Like, there was no way the police could surround the entire area of woods, and if gunshots can be heard from, like, depending on the gun, it can be like miles away you can hear a gun. So if they were in just a different part of the woods that wasn't secure, there is a good chance it could still be heard from where they were.
True.
But so I didn't mean it wasn't startling to be like, oh fuck, like that was a gunshot that scared me.
A gun would, like, freak me the fuck out.
It was like, oh my god, where could this gunshot have come from? Like, and I was like, quit being fucking dramatic. Like, it was probably like, yes, jump. Oh my goodness, that startled me. Move on with your life, because it's not that. Like, I'm pretty sure the goat man isn't out there, like, shooting things up. Like, he's throwing you off a bridge. He doesn't have a gun. He has hooves.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point, I would just be worried about crazy murderers.
Yeah, because that's what my whole thing this whole time is. In the goat man bridge in the woods, it is a thick area of woods.
That was my next question. Okay.
Yeah, it's
how
like,
thick?
It is thick woods with a sketchy, 2 C's. Okay. With a sketchy bridge and a river. Do you know how many places there are to dispose of bodies in that, just in that area?
Yes, I know a lot about true crime. Yes.
So, like, my whole thing, because, like, the thing that freaks me out about so-called haunted houses or abandoned places or haunted woods is never the haunted part. It's that there is probably a crazy person. I probably shouldn't use the word crazy. That could be inconsiderate.
I mean,
insensitive.
Not necessarily. No, I think everyone will know what you mean.
Okay.
Because if you're a murderer, you're not there. You're kind of crazy. Like, I am kind of crazy, but I don't take it as offensive for, like, a serial killer, because I'm not that kind of crazy yet.
But the thing that freaks me out about those places is, like, someone trying to kill me in those places, not seeing a ghost.
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
definitely.
There is a squatter who wants to eat my bones.
Yes. But you don't think there's some part of that horrible area where a serial killer is and a murderer that someone's life is just clinging along, calling out for help as a ghost?
They've been killed. They're probably... I don't think that people come back after they've been killed.
No, but the whole thing of being a ghost is that your spirit can't move on. And whether you believe in, like, heaven or hell or reincarnation or what have you, if you're brutally murdered, I would think you'd still be like, hey, I'm hanging around. This shit fucking sucks. Help me. You don't think that at all?
That could happen if ghosts were real. I won't believe it until I see it.
Okay, go on.
So, And apparently Ashley quit the show after this and like...
Okay. Took a turn.
And like, honestly, I would fucking too if I had to work with Zach Baggins. I would quit.
Okay.
So, trigger warning spiders, by the way, because they didn't give me fucking one, and I had to suffer, but I'm nice, so trigger warning spiders. Skip ahead. I don't know, it'll probably take us 5 minutes to get through this small section. So, Zach had a spider crawl up his back to his neck. And there was no trigger warning for that, so fuck y'all for doing that. And they replayed it, and I hated it, so my whole body tensed up. And his whole thing was like, I had a spider try to bite me in the neck. And I was like, the spider crawled up your back to your neck, where else was it going to go? It was a spider.
Did they ever say what kind of spider?
I don't know, but it was like that fucking big. Like, it was a big ass spider.
Okay, but I was like, most spiders won't try to bite you. That's why I feel like he's probably being dramatic.
Yeah, he was totally being dramatic
Okay.
because literally it didn't even try to bite him. It was just crawling up his back because it was a spider.
It tried to bite me.
It was a fucking spider. And I've actually been bitten by a spider.
I have too.
But she's like has a healthy relationship with spiders, whereas I have, and
No, I almost died also, like you. But I still like spiders.
I said healthy relationship with spiders.
Oh, okay. I just thought you were saying, like, but spiders never hurt her. They hurt me.
No, I wasn't saying they never hurt you. I was saying you, like, have dealt with your trauma. I haven't. So we both almost died from a spider bite. She is doing great. I am not. I freeze up when I see a spider. If one comes near me, I start crying. I start hyperventilating. I freak out. I can't look at pictures of them without freaking out. So the fact that they kept playing it on the fucking show, like I literally, my whole body tensed up and I was like, couldn't look at it. I couldn't do it. But it's fine.
Yeah, I can attest to this. I deal with a lot of spiders for Skylar.
Yeah.
So, she's not lying.
So back to weird lights in the forest.
Yes, please.
They saw 2 glowing eyes, and they said they couldn't debunk it, but I doubt every bit of this show. So I truly think it was an animal hiding in the dark spots, and Zach is a drama queen.
Well.
Because it was literally, like, they were clearly animal eyes. Like, it wasn't, like, hollow.
So is it like the reflective eyes that animals have?
Mm-hmm. Because they just shone, like, a light directly at it.
Right.
And, like, so you could only see, like, the eyes reflecting because it was, like, hiding. It was, like, kind of behind a whole bunch of bushes. So you wouldn't have been able to see, like, a body because it was behind the bushes in that dark spot. So you just see these reflective eyes.
Right, and they were animal eyes. So they could have been goat eyes.
Okay.
Which is an animal. Yes.
They could have been goat eyes.
Because you just said you couldn't see the body. So it could have been the goat man because you yourself said animal eyes without a body.
I'm pretty sure all of the legend of the goat man is his bottom half is goat, but okay.
You don't think his eyes would be goat too? If he has horns? If you have horns and hollow eyes, they're goat eyes because goat eyes are hollow.
Okay, I'll go with it. He saw the goat man, guys.
Case solved. Next.
So then fucking Aaron.
Is Aaron a character?
Aaron's one of the people on the show.
I literally know nothing about the show. So
Aaron
you said fucking Aaron is like, oh, do I need to know Aaron?
Aaron is the one that Em is always talking about because in every single fucking episode of Ghost Adventures, like the worst things happen to Aaron all the time.
Gotcha. Me.
So, Aaron at this point is losing his hearing or hearing ringing. I don't fucking know what's happening. They didn't really make it clear. Aaron was just like, I can't hear.
Aaron was being Aaron. Off to the side.
And I was like, I guess. Okay. So then Jay, Ashley's husband, the one who was like,
yeah,
I don't know. He found some ancient text, which I'm pretty sure came off the first page of Google. And
Okay, I don't have fault with a lot, but I have fault with ancient text. Okay, but go on.
That's literally what it said. It was like, Jay has found ancient text. And I was like, yeah, okay, first page of Google search, got it.
Thanks, Indiana Jones. Come on.
And then a symbol to conjure demons to him so he could banish them.
Okay.
I don't even, and then I literally put, I don't even fucking know. They all sound like drones to me at this point. I'm tired of this shit. I'm so annoyed. Because literally this voice I'm doing is how they sounded to me the entire time. Oh, and then I trigger warned spiders, you assholes. Because they just kept showing pictures of spiders that were like in their webs in the woods. And one of the things Zach said earlier was like, oh fuck, I think I saw a copperhead, and if anything you know, I'm scared of snakes. And I was like, okay. And I was like, so Zach, if you're scared of snakes, you should know that spiders are another big fear, and some of us have phobias. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
So then they start doing the spirit box, and there was another Steve, which, like I said...
Another Steve. Steve the second.
Like I said, I was going strictly off captions because I didn't hear anything, so I just went off what the captions said. And the spirit box makes my ears ring sometimes because that sound doesn't, like, my ears don't, I guess, hear it properly. So instead of just like I can get the, but like it makes my ears really hurt. So yeah. So they're on the bridge. Jay is still under the bridge. Everyone's trying to stop him from doing the ritual underneath the bridge. There's something like a salt ring on the floor. I don't fucking know. I really wasn't paying attention. I kind of gave up. Aaron, for some reason, is hurting. Like, he got thrown or something, and he can't see, and he lost his hearing, and he's, like, got a scratch on his arm. I don't fucking know, because apparently just every fucking thing happens to Aaron. I literally don't know. I literally think, like, at this point, I'm like, this is clearly all made up. I am more inclined to believe in the Goat Man than I am to believe any fucking thing that Zach Baggins says about anything.
Yeah.
And then I literally don't fucking care anymore. This show is so fake and they're all stupid and annoying and I'm done. I can't keep going and I'm fed up. And then I put, oh, and one more thing. Zach tried to strangle himself and I have to admit he committed to the faking of all of this. Like, he really went for it. He was giving it his all, 100%. And he
tried to strangle himself?
Yeah, like he had his hands around his own neck and I guess that was him being possessed by the Goat Man or something. I don't...
Okay, but you could easily act that out.
Yeah. I was like, he committed to the faking of it. He was really going for it because they kept trying to pull, like, his arms away from his neck and he, like, threw himself back so he could keep strangling himself. And I'm like, I hate this fucking show. Anyways, that's Goatman Bridge. Like I said, I was going to do better notes, but Ghost Adventures pissed me off, so...
Yeah.
That's what you get.
I've purposely stayed away from Ghost Adventures.
I would. Never go back.
Because I like these ghost stories, and, like, from the history of the Goat Man, like, this man who was wrongly hanged and all this, and his family was murdered for no reason.
And see, and I like that history. I don't like that history because I
get what you mean. But, like that I can get behind. I'm like, yes, Goat Man, fuck them up. But then Zach Baggins comes in.
And he ruined it.
And I'm like, okay, Zach. Sure.
Literally cannot
choke yourself for no reason, please. You do? Okay, cool.
He hopped over the fucking railing and was like, spirits and demons, please welcome us. I was like, I hope the fuck they don't.
And you're like, oh, we're doing this. Here we go. Well, if you enjoyed this, we hope you come back. Should we spin for next week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Okay, we just spun for next week's topic.
Drumroll, please.
We got true crime.
Woo!
So we are the most basic podcast ever so far. But
I swear we have 14 topics on this thing. We'll get something else.
we do. And also, for a plot twist, I guess to make it a little more interesting, we also spun for our drink, and we got
a drink we don't like. So I have 2 sucky weeks in a row. I still like my topic.
But it's got to be we as a collective, so we'll have to convene and see what drink we both don't like, and come back. I have some drinks that I don't like, obviously.
I have a lot. I'm very picky.
Yeah.
I like to drink a lot, but I like to drink very specific things.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll be here, we'll be gross, we'll be bitter, and we'll talk about some really fucked up shit, because true crime and people suck. But we thank you so much for listening, and we hope you liked it, and if you did, rate us, recommend us, and you can hit us up on these social medias.
So our Twitter is Sip in Spin Podcast.
The letter N.
Yes, the letter N. So Sip in Spin Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And then our Gmail, or if you want to email us and just tell us anything, everything, and nothing, because that's what we are all about.
Yes.
You can email us at sipandspinpodcast@gmail.com, and you can follow our personal Twitters. Mine is Gleam YKS, so it's just Sky backwards, so Gleam YKS, and then yours is B Clark X22.
Maybe. Do you know my own Twitter more than me? Honestly, I don't Twitter much. But if you're interested in my life, I Twitch stream games. If you want to come hang with me as I game, and that's at Whimsy Dream. So you can find me there, or on YouTube at Whimsy Dreams with an S. And I make a fool of myself, and sometimes Skylar shows up, so...
Yeah, I did a Twitch with her recently, and hopefully I'll have my own Twitch and YouTube, which will also be Gleam YKS.
But yeah, you can find us being stupid on the internet anywhere the internet is found.
Yeah. So, just like here. We're stupid here, we're stupid there. It's fine. It's just who we are, and that's okay.
But thanks for listening to Sip and Spin, and we'll...
catch you next time.
Sip with you next time? Spin with you next time? I don't know what
That's
our saying will be.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like being lame.
Okay.
We'll spin you next time, guys.
Oh my god.